Hello, everyone. Give me a little thumbs up or a heads up in the chat if you can see me, if you can hear me. You guys know how it works by now. So it's always really good to hear from you. And yeah, just want to say hello, hello, hello. And we are dropping in at the moment. So as promised, I'm going to keep bringing you this new content. So remember, Monday through Friday at around 12 noon, give or take 5 or 10 minutes or so, I'm going to be going live and I'm going to be giving you different insights. So, as I said, although the weeklies and other bits and pieces will be for members only, there is going to be lots of stuff that I think the current people, my wider audience, are also going to love. So, stay tuned for that. All right, so just let me know in the chat, where are you in the world at this moment in time, and all of that good stuff. All right. Let's get back to it. Let me just make sure you guys are seeing me. Let's go. All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, everybody. All right. So you can all hear me, you can all see me. Absolutely love it. Thank you so much for checking in. Thank you for continuing to stick around for this new stuff. Always lovely to have you. So, we're going to get straight into it. So, today, as you've probably read from the title, this is all about Jupiter. This is Jupiter's blueprint for the next week ahead, basically, right? So, what we're going to be talking about here is we're going to be talking about using the luck that is available to you and creating opportunity where there might only be a little bit of a spark. So, if you don't know, I am Raphael from Radiant Reality. I am an astrologer, numerologist, tarot reader, and energy worker. That is my core four. Those are the things that I absolutely love, that I feel like I kind of excel at. And these are the things that I use to bring you information. And when I'm talking about astrology, I'm talking about whole sign, tropical Western astrology, for those of you that would like to know. And in terms of energy work, I use energy work, a combination of energy work, Reiki, clear energy therapy, which is an amazing modality. And I also use muscle testing, right? So all of these things are things that I chuck into my sessions. If you want to ever get a personal session with me, you can hit the links in the description box below. But back to today, what is it all about? Jupiter's blueprint is all about working with Jupiter's energy for the week ahead so that we know really what we can lean into. This is about using, creating, and harnessing the luck that is provided or available to us at this moment in time. It's also really about empowering ourselves to work with the planets rather than against them, or to see this as stuff that we're not a part of. Although we're not in control of the planets or the things that they beam down to us here mortals on Earth, we are active participants, right? And Jupiter can really help us connect with the right people at the right time. So, today we're going to be looking at the big guy to see what he's doing, where he is, explore some of the aspects that are going on and how that might affect us. All right. So, let's get started with the juicy bits. And speaking about the juicy bits, I want to see the juicy bits in the comments, right? I want to see literally in there. I want to see any type of fruit. I'm talking lemons, watermelons, grapes. I want to see all of your juicy bits right there in the comments. I want to see what you got. Oh my God, and my niece is here. Hello, little one. Oh, I love it. Hey, baby girl. Oh man, look at that. So let me see it. Let me see it roll through these comments. Let me see it roll through these comments. I want to see some type of fruit. Let me know you're ready for the juice. You're ready for that Jupiter juice, the Jupe juice, baby. Come on, let me see it. What have you got? Oranges, apples, bananas. I want to see it. Do you want the juice on Jupiter? Are you ready for it? Can you handle the juice, baby? All right, so I'm gonna give it a minute because so far I ain't seen no juice. Tasha's with me. All right, I see it. I see it. Okay, I see you. I see you. Watermelon with feta. She knows what's up. She knows what's up. That's that Greek heritage coming through there. All right, nice, nice, nice. Okay, so I can see it. I can see all of these fruits rolling through. Hey, Sushma. Hello. That's one of my members right there. So that's little star right next to Sushma's name means she's one of my members. If you want to become one of my members, there'll be something in the chat, in the description of the video later for you. So let's get into it. You guys are clearly ready for the juice. So before we get into the day by day stuff, I want to get you to cast your mind back to the time where emoji game strong. I love it. Right. I want you to cast your mind back to December of 2020. That was when Saturn and Jupiter came together in a conjunction. Now, when Saturn and Jupiter come together in their conjunction, it's called the Great Conjunction. This happened at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So I want you to cast your mind back, think back to December of 2020. What were you setting into motion? And what was really a prominent theme that you had as an intention to put energy into or to push something forward? Hey, the Taurus garden is here. Buenos dias. Hello, hello, hello. This is another one of my beautiful members who is going to be doing some really good things here on YouTube. So make sure you check her out. So think back, December of 2020, what were you setting into motion? What was your intention about? The reason being is because as we're speaking, it's kind of slightly wonky in orb at the moment, but there is a Saturn Jupiter square taking place. Now, what this means is that we're basically from now right through until next year you're going to start to really, and obviously, especially because Jupiter's going to go retrograde, you're going to start to see the first sprouts of those seeds that you planted, the first bumps, the first challenges, the first sort of big boost of energy that's going to be showing up in your world in order for you to initiate this thing, right? So I'm going to let you in on something. I mean, it's personal, but it's not like I can't share it. So when that Saturn Jupiter conjunction happened, I asked for something very specific. Because everyone was like, "Oh, it's a Santa Claus transit." I didn't see it as that, and so I got really honest with myself, and I said, "Okay, you know what? What do I feel like I really need more of in my life that's actually going to make a difference to me?" So rather than wish for cars and big money and all the rest of it, what I actually asked for was discipline, right? I asked for genuine hard work, deep in your gut discipline to do what needed to be done at any given moment. And what unfolded from that moment at the time, I was like, for the first year or so of this transit, I was like, oh, well, I'm doing my thing, but I don't really feel like it's shown up. And then as of, what are we now? We're in September. As of, I'd probably say June, maybe slightly earlier than that, just before the Saturn Jupiter square really started to kick in, that first pass of it that we're going to have. That's when I really saw like things that were really hard, that were really difficult, that I thought, wow, I don't know if I'm able to overcome this. Things that I really didn't know if I had the grit or the gut or the discipline to overcome, I overcame, right? And I just kept going and just kept going and just kept showing up. And now I'm starting to see that that discipline that I asked for is actually coming to me very, very easily, right? So I want you to cast your mind back to 2020, December 2020, when that great conjunction was kind of really sort of when it was happening. What were you initiating? What were you setting forward in your life at that moment in time? It's a really big question to ask. Okay, so December of 2020, I was in survival mode. My mum had multiple surgeries. I'm so sorry to hear that. Diabetes, and I had to care for her, work and take care of my household. It was not an easy time for a lot of people. I'm fully aware, right? We were literally in December 2020, we were in the height of the pandemic at that point, right? So it was a very serious time for everybody. But that's what I mean. Whatever you were setting into motion or asking for or intending or moving on, now you're going to start to see the results. You're going to start to see the first sproutlings of those seeds start to come to fruition. Okay. So, what does this mean? Where is Jupiter, right? At the moment, Jupiter is in the sign of Gemini. So, what does this mean, right? Well, what it means is Jupiter is an energy of growth, expansion, luck. It's also called in astrology, it's certainly in ancient astrology, it's known as the Great Benefic, right? It's a blessing planet. However, some people have Jupiter transits, and when it hits a difficult point or a difficult energy in their chart, it will also expand that. So it's not always what we expect it to be. Now, that being said, Jupiter also rules dignitaries, helpful people, people that can support us in some way, shape, or form. It also rules authority figures, lawmakers, coaches, gurus, judges. All of these types of people are children of Jupiter, as Austin Coppock taught me. I took one of his classes. Definitely recommend. I'm not going to swear, absolutely brilliant. So if you haven't thought about it, or if you have, it's definitely worth doing. He'll teach you some stuff that you won't find anywhere else. And for me, that's important as an Aquarius. All right, so Jupiter is in the sign of Gemini. Gemini is communication, conversation, it's interaction, it's ambidextrous, it does everything with two hands, it has two conversations at once, it reads multiple books at once, right? It grabs a little bit of information from everything. Gemini is the great jack of all trades, yet master of none. And that's not a diss, it's an absolute, certainly in the way that things are moving forward in the world. That is going to be an absolute asset. All right. So that ability to pick from different things here, there, and everywhere and bring, make it look like something solid is going to be really, really important. All right. So, how does Jupiter's energy enhance growth, expansion, and opportunities for luck and impactful connection? Well, Jupiter in Gemini isn't necessarily at its best, right? It doesn't understand air energy because Jupiter rules Sagittarius in modern astrology, well, in astrology, and then in ancient astrology, Jupiter also ruled Pisces. So this is an energy that understands fire, it understands water. So it doesn't necessarily do its best in the sign of Gemini, especially because its natural home is in Sagittarius, so it's literally right across the sky in a home that it is in a house that is strange and foreign to it, right? So this is Jupiter technically in its, maybe not necessarily in its full, but definitely in its detriment. Now, what this means is, or should I say, that said, Jupiter, Gemini is an energy of options, right? It likes having options. It likes having more than one. And I got to tell you, with Jupiter absolutely loves more than one, right? Jupiter had many wives, many children. Jupiter was Zeus in the Greek pantheon of gods, right? Many wives, many lovers, many affairs, men, women, the works, Jupiter weren't shy. Right? And when you think about Gemini that does everything about, literally in dual aspects, that this is where they do kind of get along to a point, right? And the other thing is Gemini is the mutable air sign, Sagittarius is the mutable fire sign, Pisces is the mutable water sign. So that is an energy that they understand, right? This is where they kind of connect in the middle. That being said, on a really practical level, over the course of this transit, Jupiter in general loves sweet things, and Gemini energy can be prone to sweets. So I will say just watch out for that. What it also suggests is that this is really a time, because a Jupiter transit is a year, right? It's a long transit. It's not just like a few days, but we're looking at a snapshot in time. But as an overview, this is a time to really lean into getting educated. It's a time where helpful teachers and coaches and mentors and people that you speak with can really help you, where conversation and communication can really speak volumes at this moment in time. Jupiter expands what it touches. So, with this transit, we've seen education and course creation absolutely ramp up. Um, Jupiter is also meaning, right? It's the higher wisdom and the higher meaning of something. So if you need to answer right now, might be a really good time to ask yourself, what is the meaning behind what you're doing? What is the meaning? What meaning do your skills impart on the world around you? Right? It's a great energy for short trips as well, weekend breaks. Gemini is always darting about here, there, and everywhere. So this could be a really great time for travel, Jupiter, on a local level, Gemini. So, finally, the one thing that I want to leave you with is Jupiter is an energy of cohesion. It's an energy of synthesis. This is where he and Gemini can kind of bridge the gap. What are you able to combine now? What are you able to bring together? What are you able to see the deeper meaning in of your life and in your own world? If Jupiter is beneficent, like beneficent people, and Gemini is education, this might be a time to look for or connect with a teacher that, like someone that you know can really help you, that can really give you good, solid information. And the last thing that I'll say on this is Jupiter is about integrity. Jupiter is the lawmaker. Gemini is very much about work, information, communication. Jupiter is the cosmic lawmaker. So you kind of need to get in alignment, right? Get yourself in alignment with your communications and your actions. Because if the two aren't matching up, the retrograde is going to catch you in your underwear. All right. Like real talk, Rafi gives it to you how it is. All right. So this is remaining in your integrity. Don't touch what isn't yours. Don't repurpose or repackage what isn't yours. We all borrow from each other, absolutely, but you got to be, because otherwise you're going to get stung. All right. That's as much as I will say on that. Now, let's have a look. On Monday, let me just share the chart. Where are you? Where are you, chart? Uh, Here we go. Let's take it back to now. Let's take it forward. All right. Ooh. All right. So I'm going to share the chart. Can you guys let me know in the chat? Can you see the chart? Are you looking at the chart or are you just looking at my anxiety-inducing desktop, as my friend calls it all the time? Uh, all right. Excuse me. Okay, interesting. So glowing therapist has put Virgo rising, working two jobs. The second job I got was a faculty member on a radiation therapy program. I do wonder then if this comes back over the course of this stay of Jupiter in the sign of Gemini. This could be something that actually could be very helpful for you. So really, really interesting. Shay says, I was going through my big awakening. I asked for connection with my ancestors, developed my spiritual abilities. Excellent, right? And this means that now you're going to start to see the results of that hard work. You're going to start to see it's not the full force, you're not getting the whole thing just yet, but you're going to start to see the sprouts, right? You're going to start to see the seeds really start to pay off. So as we start the week, Jupiter will be in, Jupiter's obviously in the sign of Gemini, but look at this, right? We've got the moon, Luna, our fair goddess. This chart's set for London, so please ignore the house placements unless you're in the UK, and even then, ignore. But look, you can see we start the week with the moon basically conjunct Jupiter. So over the course of the 23rd on Monday, the moon is going to move through or towards, should I say, that conjunction with Jupiter. Now, on Monday, we start when we get a moon conjunct Jupiter, this can be, because Jupiter expands, big feelings, the moon in Gemini, right? So it can see us reaching to fill the void for something more so than usual. All right. So something to watch out for. Jupiter likes sweets, as I've already said. Gemini also loves sweets, so watch out for that. But also be mindful if you've got a sweet tooth. This could also be a really good day for a heartfelt dialogue of some kind, right? So Gemini, communication, conversation, the moon, feelings, Jupiter is healing, actually. Jupiter represents healing. It also represents protection. So there's a chance here to have a really important conversation that really brings a lot of healing into our lives. That said, Jupiter is also square to Mercury at this time, right? Mercury is the lord of Gemini, where Jupiter is currently, and the moon. And it's also in its sign of exaltation, which means in this connection, in this square, Mercury is the power player. The other thing that you want to be clear on here as well is this isn't just going to be a surface level conversation, right? If you're going to have a heart to heart, don't BS it, right? You got to be honest about how you feel, and also think about what you feel needs to be brushed up in terms of your knowledge base. Monday may really reveal to you where maybe your knowledge base around something isn't quite up to par with where it needs to be. Now, Jupiter is also sextile to Chiron at this time, which I really think does bring that lovely sort of potential energy to heal, right? Because Chiron is the wound, it's in the sign of Aries, the sign of the self. So Chiron is really showing us what it's cost to be ourselves. Jupiter is allowing us to really open up the floodgates of healing. The moon is really bringing the feelings to the surface, and Jupiter is expanding that. And on top of that, that square to Mercury basically says, if you're going to have a heart to heart, come with all of it. All right. Don't just settle for half truths and, oh, I'm going to give you a little bit, but I'm not going to talk about the whole thing, because it's a wasted opportunity. All right. Like, it will be genuinely just a wasted opportunity. Now, as we come into Tuesday, Jupiter isn't really moving a lot now because he's slowing right down in preparation for his annual retrograde, right? Which lasts around 4 months. Stay tuned because my retrograde survival kit is on its way to you. I'm telling you, you guys are going to love this. I gotta say, I'm kind of very proud of it because I worked really hard on it, and I'm telling you, it's brilliant, and it's a one and done thing. Like, once you've got it, you'll have it for life. You'll be able to use it for every and any retrograde out there. So stay tuned. Anyway, Tuesday is really not doing a lot, to be completely honest with you. As I said, the speed is very slow now because it's preparing for the retrograde. Speed, light, and motion are all important to planetary energies, right? This is a really important point. As a quick one, if you guys are loving this new content, if you're loving the new things that I'm bringing to you, hit me with a like, hit me with a little comment, send me some hearts in the chat. For those of you that are here right now, I appreciate it. I love you all so much for doing that. Remember, engagement helps the channel. I am trying to appease the YouTube gods. Ah. And I'm hoping Jupiter's going to help me with that. All right, jokes aside, as we come into Wednesday, look at this. All right, now here, this is going to be interesting because at this point, Jupiter reaches 21 degrees of Gemini. This is significant, and I'm going to tell you why now. Because at on the 9th of October, when Jupiter starts its annual retrograde, it will go retrograde at 21 degrees. So, right, I want you to pay attention to the Gemini sector of your house. Sorry, the Gemini house of your chart, right? So, in the comments, in the chat right now, if you're here, love you very much. Let me know what house is this falling in your chart, right? Let me know, where is this happening for you right now in your chart? Where is Gemini? What house is it in for you? Just waiting for you guys to hit me up. All right, so Tracy says 12th house, Heidi says 4th house, 8th house. So some big, I mean, you three there, those are those are the ones that I personally anyway, I feel are the meaty houses, right? Everyone loves the second house because it's the money, and the fifth house because it's romance and all the rest of it. But the grit and the juice, that's the fourth house, the eighth house, and the 12th. That's where the juicy stuff really happens. Okay, thank you so much for sharing. So the reason I say this is because on Wednesday, Jupiter hits that 21 degrees, right? Whatever area of life this represents for you. So your 12th house is going to be your past, your privacy. It's going to be your hidden self. It's going to be your self-sabotaging tendencies. Your fourth house is your home, family, property, real estate. Eighth house, joint finances, personal psychology. It's a very deep house. Third house, your local area, siblings, if you've got them, neighbors. Also the skills that you use every day on your job or potentially technology. The 10th house, your career, your social status, how everybody knows you, the honors that you get from the work that you do or the service that you offer to the world, right? Big, big stuff. So wherever those spaces in your chart are, you are going to see at 21 degrees on the 9th of October, Gemini, oh my gosh, come on, Rafi. Jupiter in Gemini is going to go retrograde, right? That's why Wednesday is a really important day to pay attention to, right? Whatever's taking place from Wednesday next week, right the way through to the 9th of October, this is what you're going to be revisiting when Jupiter goes direct and passes through this degree again at a later date in 2025, right? So pay attention this week to that Gemini space of your chart because you're going to be revisiting those themes later down the line. Thursday, really kind of more of the same, except look what's happened. The Sun and Mercury at this point are now in the sign of Libra. This is important because further down the line in October, the energy of Mercury and the Sun are going to come into a trine with Jupiter. Only the difference is Jupiter will be retrograde. So very, very interesting stuff. And then Friday, again, more of the same, not really a lot going on. But then as we come into the weekend, Saturday and specifically, so Saturday was going to be really nice because the moon's going to sextile Jupiter. Now, even though this is a waning moon, I really like this for past opportunities or conversations with teachers, mentors, coaches, gurus, maybe even people that you have performed or connected or worked with in some way, shape, or form could come up. Pay attention to the dialogues that happen on Saturday because there's a possibility that you could feel like, you know what, this might not be anything at the moment, but it could be in the future. All right, like it's just a little glimmer of hope around this. So I really love that. Now, on Sunday, can you see this, right? So we've got Mars at 14 of Cancer. We've got Venus at 7 of Scorpio, and we've got a retrograde Saturn at 14 of Pisces. This is setting up, and Venus has still got to get to like that 14th degree. It's, it's about 7 degrees off at this point, but it's worth noting because this is going to happen over the course of a week starting from Sunday. That grand water trine is really, really nice, right? Mars trine Saturn is one of my favorite transits, especially for inner fortitude to get something done. And because all of this is happening across water signs, this is about an emotional grit and power and personal perseverance, let's say, on an inner level, on an emotional level. It's like something inside just continues to drive you, even when you feel like, oh, you know what, I don't know if I've got any more in the tank. And yet, whatever we do under this transit, it really does, works wonders. Now, even though that's not about Jupiter, I do feel like it's an important piece of information. Now, that being said, um, with Venus is in her sign of Fool, right? So she doesn't necessarily do great work in Scorpio, so that's something to note. But also the moon is waning. Luna is heading towards her balsamic phase at this point. So it's not necessarily a great time to initiate something brand new. But what it is really good for is getting rid of, using the emotional energy, the emotional push to release or rid yourself of something in your life that has really been a hindrance to you, right? The power is there. It's like you can see the value in not having this thing in your life. Now, these words, it's not a spell per se, but it's kind of like a promise that you make to fair Luna. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because as we started this, and I was talking about it on Monday, the moon and Jupiter are really close together, right? They're going to come through that conjunction, and moon and Jupiter, they love each other. They really get on very well. And that is, I give of myself so that she may gain, and as she waxes, I shall wane, right? So, whatever it is that you're trying to release, remember those words, think about those words. On Sunday, the 29th of September, whatever you're closing down, getting rid of, releasing in your life, just do it with a little bit of intention to say, okay, you know what, Luna, you're very close to ending this current lunation cycle. Take this with you. And as it continues to leave my life and you grow to full, I'm going to be completely rid of it. All right. Be really mindful of this. Tap into that energy of Jupiter and just, be with it. Okay. Everyone's still with me so far. I know that was a lot of information and it was a little choppy, but I think some of it was really important to give you. So, I do want to mention that working with me for 3 months is still open. There are only, of the 10 spaces that I only have 4 spaces left. I literally only opened this up on Sunday. You get to work with me for 3 months. We're going to build you a strategy. If you're loving how I'm doing this right now, imagine what it's going to be like when we tailor this personally to you, to your chart, to your numerology, to all of your personal correspondences. As if that wasn't enough, you get to have what I'm affectionately calling Rafi in your pocket. So basically, you'll be able to WhatsApp me Monday through Friday to get me to drop cards on anything that you need to know, as long as it's around your specific goals. All right. So if you are interested and you want to sign up, I will say there are only 10 spaces. 6 of them are already gone. All right. There's the link in the chat and it will also be in the video as well in the description. So with that said, I want you all to take a breath, take a moment, come back into your present moment, come back into yourself after all of that information. I want you to breathe and I want you to focus, right? So I'm going to shuffle my cards. And before I lay any out, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So I'm going to shuffle. And when you guys are ready, I literally just want you to say stop. Type it in the chat. Get at me. Let's see. All right. Ooh. Anyone, type stop. Let's go. Thank you, Steffi. I thought I was going to be here shuffling for 5 minutes. All right, so the first card out, we're calling this the growth catalyst, right? This is how to nurture personal or professional growth this week. And with this, we've got the moon. Very, very interesting. So, what this suggests is your past connections, right? Really taking time to check in with people that you've worked with, people that you've connected with before, maybe even thinking back to how it is that you show up, how it is that you improve on things that you've been doing for a long time. The other thing with the moon card, it can be where we have fear, right? The moon card can be rose tinted glasses, where we see things in like a bit of a distorted way. And so the message here is really like in order for you to grow and nurture your personal or professional growth this week, you've really got to examine your past. And you know, as that saying goes, like, in order to know where you're going, you've got to know where you've been, right? This is a week to really understand that on a deep level. So, your second card, the impact influencer, how to connect to the right people, how to make an impression or leverage your own influence to create opportunities for yourself. You got the chariot card. You got to go at it, right? You've got to claim your own brilliance. You've got to really, you know, what's really interesting is look at this, right? We've got the moon card and we've got the chariot. What this means is, in order for you to really make your impact this week, the message is basically you've got to trawl through your past and find your successes, right? Go back through all of the things that you've done and look at what succeeded. We're so good at looking back and being like, oh, this was horrible. This broke me. You know, I'm never going to get over that. I'm never going to heal from this. And da, da, da. We say all of these things to ourselves, and our body, our mind, our soul, our spirit, and our DNA are listening to that. Come on, people, get into alignment. Look back into your past. That's your growth catalyst. Your impact influencer is to literally find the successes of your past because those are the things that you need to build your future on. All right. Not just your failures, not just your disappointments, not just your heartaches. What are your successes? Where are the moments that you won? Where are the moments that you overcame? The best way for you to create a strategy for moving forward is to remember how much of a badass you are, is to remember what your victories and successes are, is to remind yourself and the world around you just what you've overcome. Are you picking up what Rafi is putting down? Okay. And then finally, our luck lever. How does diligence and open-mindedness turn potential into tangible results? Right? Basically, what strings do we need to pull to get ahead? We've got the Nine of Swords. Well, that's an easy one. Get out of your head. And this isn't, you know, Heidi, I hear what you're saying, and that has its place. You know, it's good to have positive thoughts. We can't always have positive thoughts, but what we can do is check those negative thoughts when they arise and say, okay, what evidence is here? What have I overcome before? What has tried to stop me but actually didn't stop me? This is about learning to be present so that you can change your mind, right? So the Nine of Swords. the luck lever. How do we pull the lever? How do we pull the strings with the Nine of Swords? Well, simple. We get out of our head. We look at where we are over sensationalizing or over dramatizing the things that have happened to us. Now, in terms of leaning into the Nine of Swords, if you are going to stay up late, please don't let it be scrolling on your phone unless you are looking for something specific that is going to enhance your world, that's going to educate you, or is going to help you. All right. If you're going to be out here being up till all kinds of crazy o'clock, scrolling, make sure it's something that is actually going to feed or enrich your life. Yeah. Okay. So let's get into the elemental sign breakdown. So for the fire signs, you have, again, someone in the comments, please let me know when to stop. What you say is what you are. Love that. Love that. I gave a talk in the Lunar Lacuna that I offer. And we're actually, funnily enough, we were talking about the moon in Gemini. And one of the, Sushma says, stop. Thank you so much, lovely. And one of the things that I talked about in that talk was that the power of life and death is in the tongue. What you're speaking out into your world, what you're speaking out into your life, it carries and it matters. It reverberates right out into the fabric of the world and it comes back to you as your results. You better start speaking life and hope into your dreams and your goals and your visions for your future. Okay, right. Fire signs. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, you get the Chariot card. Rach Angel, hello, baby. This is another one of my amazing members. Thank you so much for showing up for RAF. Laurel, hello, my Aquarius sister. Laurel is a wonderful human being. She's been with me for a long time as well. So for the fire signs, you've got the Chariot. Right. So this card was the card that showed up as the impact influencer. And the message behind this was literally for you to delve into your past and find your previous successes. So for the fire signs among you, the best way for you to tap into all of this Jupiter energy it's happening anyway. Why not use it? Why not lean into it in some way, shape, or form, right? So the message behind this Chariot card is you got to get into it. You got to look at what your successes are. And more importantly, this week you're likely to be presented with some element or some version of yourself that is actually getting in your way. Sometimes the victory and success that comes from the Chariot card is conquering an aspect of ourselves that is actually stopping us getting ahead. For the air signs, you got the Four of Wands. I mean, look, the air signs are kind of lucky, right? Jupiter is in an air sign, so if you're at least if you're a Gemini, you get in them blessings, right? It's Jupiter in your sign. If you are an Aquarius, Jupiter is trining your sun, moon, or ascendant, whichever one you're watching for. If you are Libra, you are also getting that trine from that Jupiter energy. So no wonder you got the Four of Wands this week, right? So this is celebration. It's good news that's coming into you. The message that I'm getting from this Four of Wands, though, is that this week, the goodness that comes to you, you have to allow it in. You've got to allow yourself to trust that actually sometimes good news can just be good news and good things can find you. Good things can happen for you. It's not always doom and gloom, right? It's not always the hard or the and all the rest of it, right? Four of Wands, baby. Air signs, let's go. For the water signs, you have the Eight of Swords, right? So this week, you are being encouraged to think about what you are truly invested for the future. Where is it that you are actually in it for the long haul? And where is it that you just feel trapped, confined, or constricted by something? And the more honest you are about this, the more freedom and liberation and beauty and harmony you are going to find, right? If you are a water sign, this week is really trying to show you, especially through those heart to heart, where you are actually invested and you really want to put the effort in and where you don't. And it's okay for both of those to be your experience, right? In fact, it's vital for you to be able to say, I do really want this, or actually, I don't really want that. This is really, really important because if you're a water sign this week, that's what you're being guided to really explore. It's what you're being really pushed to understand. Okay? Like, what do I feel like I'm in it? Come rain or shine, right? Come whether the wheels fall off or not, I'm in it. I'm going to show up. And what do you feel like? Actually, no, this feels like a ball and chain on my neck. And then finally, last but never least, the earth signs, Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo. You have the High Priestess. This is so interesting because last night I dreamt of a friend who is a Taurus ascendant, and the High Priestess was one of the cards that showed up in the dream for her. So interesting, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, it's a little bit surreal, actually. And the fact that you've got the High Priestess means that this week, whatever you are working on behind the scenes, whatever you are putting time, effort, and energy into on a spiritual level that you understand, like even if you just think to yourself, like, okay, I know I'm supposed to be doing this. I don't know what it's going to look like when it's finished, but this is what feels like I'm supposed to be doing at the moment. You follow it, right? You trust your intuition, you trust your gut. Jupiter is the planet of prophecy. Jupiter is the planet of the future. It's one of them anyway. Uranus is the other, right? So trust it, trust your intuition. And more importantly, when something is divulged or revealed to you this week, it looks like either you or someone else is going to cough up a big one this week. Someone coughs up a secret, whether it's you, the earth sign, or whether it's somebody else. There's going to be something shared or divulged this week that I think will be very important. All right. So, in conclusion or summary, this week's energy of Jupiter, it really is slowing down in order to prepare for its retrograde. It hits that 21st degree of Gemini this week. And then from that point onwards, it's not going to move forward anymore, right the way until the 9th of October, where it actually starts its annual retrograde. From now until the 9th of October is a really important moment in time, all right? Because you're getting to see what Jupiter really wants you to work on for the next 4 months, what you're going to have to redo, what you're going to have to redefine, what you're going to have to re-engage with, reconnect with, recommunicate with, right? Jupiter in Gemini, communicate. Please, for those of you that are out there watching right now, smash that like button. If you feel like this could help somebody, just know that it really does help me. It helps the channel for you to engage, for you to comment, for you to like, to share it with people and all the rest of it. It really does mean the absolute world that you guys show up for me in the way that you do. Whether you are one of my members who I absolutely love for being my ride or dies, like in there, right? Like just backing me full spot, like full 100%, and for my wider community. And that's why I'm bringing you this stuff Monday through Friday, because I don't want just my members to get the best of me. I want all of you to get the best of me. I'm doing my best to show up for all of you, right? So all I ask for is a like, a comment, a share, a subscribe, all of that good stuff. Now, in terms of the next Jupiter session, that will be next week on Thursday. So every day, Monday through Friday, you're going to see Rafi pop up on your screen around 12, 12:10, right? And we're going to get into it. So with that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week ahead. I really hope that this helps you in some way, shape, or form. Go out there and be who you are destined to be, because you know and you know it. Rafi loves you. Take care.